Hello everyone, this is Vandalia. Welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you are doing well today because today I'm gonna explain everything you need to know about Xlookup. Now, how can you really learn how to use the Xlookup function confidently? Let me help you speed up the process by telling you in less than 30 minutes what I learned in 1 year. But first, I want to thank you for stopping by and I'm so glad that you're here. So, being able to use the Xlookup function isn't just necessary. Oh yeah, there are numerous real business situations where this knowledge proved to be valuable. From figuring out which employee hasn't completed all the compliance training requirements to knowing how much revenue generated by a specific restaurant last month, for example, or gathering complaints from customer support interactions. But one of the first questions you might be wondering is, well, what exactly is XLOOKUP? What does it do? XLOOKUP is part of the lookup family of function in Excel. Therefore, the purpose of XLOOKUP is to find items in a table and transfer them to another. So, what's unique about that? The XLOOKUP function in Excel can search information in every directions and retrieve the information in really amazing ways. To help you understand better, we're gonna do 9 lookup examples today. I'll start from the basics. All right, let's take a fictional example. Imagine you own a pizzeria that operates 7 days a week at 4 locations in Chicago, Schaumburg, Rosemont, and Aurora. Now, let's take a look at our first example. Here we have two different spreadsheets. The first one is the employee database, which contains information about the pizzeria members of staff. And the second spreadsheet is the employee training tracker, which tracks the required training plan with in progress status. So I'm going to use the XLOOKUP function to look up values across these two different sheets. What we have here is a table which shows training topic, the status, and employee's ID. And I want to pull in the job title. I want to use the employee ID column to return the relevant job title in the employees database. Let's construct our XLOOKUP. So if I click on equals on cell D2, then select XLOOKUP, the open parenthesis appears. The formula has 3 required arguments and 3 optional. Those inside the square brackets mean optionals. The first argument is lookup value. So that's the value I'm cross-referencing between the sheets. And the lookup value is in the same table that I'm writing the XLOOKUP formula in. So that's over here, which is the employee ID, comma. Lookup array is the next argument. And for this, I need to go to the employee database. Then look for my lookup value, which is the employee ID, in the employee ID column here, comma. The next argument is return array. So which column in the employees database we want to return the value from? And that's going to be the job title in the job title column here. And that's all the argument I need to use in this example. And then close parentheses, press enter. By default, it will look for an exact match. Okay, now that we understand the rules, let's see how it works in action. Just a quick note here, if we were going to use the VLOOKUP function to do something like this, the employee IDs would always have to be on the most left column of the information I want to look up. So I would need to move the column C over to the leftmost column if I want to use the employee ID as the lookup value. Now with Xlookup, we don't need to worry about that because Xlookup can search in every direction in your table of data, which makes it a lot more flexible. Now, I want to pull in multiple columns at the same time. I want to use the employee ID column to return the relevant store location, employee name, and email in the employees database. So I click equals on cell E2, select Xlookup. Now my lookup value is the employee ID, comma. Where am I looking up the employee ID? I'm looking it in the employee database in this column. Control Shift down, then press F4 to lock, comma. What's my return array? Well, I want to return 3 columns, store location, name, and email. So I'll select cell A2 to select C42 here, then press F4 to lock. That's all the argument I need. Close parentheses, press enter. And then I can drag the fill handle down to extend the formula all the way down. Now, let's go look at our next example. And in this scenario, we have two different spreadsheets again. The first one is the sales database, which contains information about our pizzeria sales activities. And the second one is the issue tracker spreadsheets that records our customer issues. The information fits through a journey, which then make it easier for our general manager to view a timeline of the customer's issue. What we have here is a table which shows the service number, status, and date, as well as the order ID with our employee's name. Here, I want to pull the customer's name and address information from the sales data. Here we have the order ID columns, and I want to use that as my lookup value across these two different sheets to return the customer's name and address from the sales database. Now the challenge here is that the customer's name column and address column are not next to each other. There is the phone column in between that I don't need. So how am I going to go to get this done? To solve this, I can combine the choose function in Excel with Xlookup function because the choose function is designed to return value from a list of options based on an index number. All right, let's take a look at how it works. I'll go back to the issue tracker spreadsheet. So I'll click equals on cell G2, select Xlookup. Now my lookup value is the order ID, comma. Where am I looking up the order ID? I'm looking it up in column B for order ID in the sales database. So I click on the first cell, hold Ctrl Shift down to capture the entire column, press F4 to lock it after that. Next, what's my return array? Well, I want to return the customer's name and address. So here I type choose, open parentheses, and then click open curly bracket, type 1, comma, type 2, close curly bracket, comma. Then I'll select the first value, which is the customer name. I'll click on the first cell of column C, hold Ctrl Shift down, then press F4 to lock it. Next, I'll select the second value, which is the address. So I click on the first cell of column E, Ctrl Shift down, press F4 to lock it. Close parentheses on this to close that choose function, then comma. Next, what to return in case the value is not found? And I want it to return text, not available, instead of an AR hashtag when the lookup value isn't present in the lookup array. And I'm able to add in a parameter here for what I like to be returned. And then close parentheses again, press enter. Now, I can drag the fill handle down to extend the formula all the way down. Next, I'm going to show you how to use Xlookup to create a dependent drop-down list. We can use data validation to set this up quickly. It is a great feature that allows you to control what users can input into a cell. It is full dynamic and work across columns. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with data validation to get my drop-down list. And my drop-down list is just going to be based upon this service number. Let's just add a data validation drop-down list in this cell and then do the Xlookup formula. To look up the information for the service number, now I'll click on cell where I want to add the drop-down. I'll navigate to the data ribbon on top, go over to the right, then click on data validation. Here I'll choose list. Select my data source and just select the service numbers. Press enter, click OK here. And now let's construct our Xlookup formula. I click equals on this cell, select Xlookup, the lookup value. Well, I'm looking up the service number, comma. Where am I looking at trying to get a match? I'm looking it up in this range right here, column A, comma. Next, what are the value I want to return to this cell here? I'll select the entire range because I want to pull all the information relevant to this service number, close parenthesis, press enter, and here we have it. Now, let's jump into our next example. So far, we've been pulling records with only one requirement. This time, I'm going to show you how to pull record when multiple conditions need to be met. Here again, we have two spreadsheets. The first spreadsheet is the sales revenue data for the year 2024, which contain the monthly revenue amount generated from our pizzeria's products and services, such as dine-in services, takeout services, delivery services, food and alcohol beverages. Here is the breakdown by store locations. And the second spreadsheet is the Q4 data only record. As you can see here, we have month and location. So I want to pull the revenue amount where both conditions are met for October month and Aurora locations. Let's now find out the revenue for these and fill in this table. I'll click equals on cell D2, select Xlookup. Now my lookup value is October in a month column. And then I'll click ampersand character. And then I'll select Aurora in the location column. So what it's doing here is concatenating October with Aurora. To proceed, consider it as a single data without space. The next argument will be the lookup array. For this, I need to go to the sales revenue dataset. And next, I'm going to click on B for the month column. Click ampersand again. Then I'm going to select C for the location column. So I'm also concatenating the column B with column C here. Now for the next part, I want to return value from the revenue column. So I'll select D, close parentheses, press enter. Double click the field handle to copy it down, and here we have it. Next, I'm going to show you how to use Xlookup function to retrieve value under rows and columns. This is what we call two-way lookup. And for this, we're going to use Nested Xlookup. Here, I'm looking for the revenue amount for Q1 for our pizzeria location in Chicago. Now, let's construct our Nested Xlookup formula. I'll click here and then click on equals, select Xlookup. What is the lookup value? My lookup value is here, Chicago, comma. Where am I looking up Chicago? I'll select the rows that contain Chicago, comma. And right here is where I'm going to do another Xlookup. So this is the Nested Xlookup right here. And I'm looking for Q1. So my lookup value this time is Q1, comma. Next, I'll select the range. Here for Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, comma. And now, if you find it, what do you want to return? I'll select the entire range of the revenue, close parentheses, press enter. Let's try to enter a different pizzeria location to test this out. The beauty about this is that the formula here is dynamic and it is not case sensitive, by the way. Now, let's take a look at some of the optional fields to see how they can help. In this scenario, we have our pizzeria staff bonus report, and the bonuses are based on the KPI rating. As you can see here, we have a little table over here, which refers to the bonus percentage by KPI metric system. As you might have noticed here, some people receive decimal numbers for the rating. So if we were to do an exact match, it's not going to match that in this little table. So how are we going to get around that? Let me go back to the XLOOKUP formula and explain the match mode argument that's available for us. So under these options, we have 0, exact match. This is the default option. -1, return the next smallest item if the values was not found. We have 1, return the next largest item if the value was not found. And then the last is number 2, wildcard match, using the question mark or asterisk or tilde. Now, in this argument here, the match mode where I can specify if I essentially want to round up or to round down in this scenario here. I'm going to choose exact match or return to the next smaller item for our scenario. Okay, let's click on equals in cell E2, select Xlookup. Now my lookup value is the rating, comma. Where am I looking up the rating? I'm looking it up in this column. Press F4 to lock comma. What's my return array? Well, I want to return how much bonus percentage they're gonna get. So I'll select here, then F4 to lock, comma. Next, do I want to return anything if I can't find the value? Well, no, I'm not worried about that. So press comma to move on to my next argument. Now here, I'll type -1, close parenthesis, press enter. And then let's copy the formula down. And here we have it. And now for the last example, I'm going to show you how to use the XLOOKUP for a partial match instead of a full match. In this scenario, I'm going to show you how to use XLOOKUP with one of the wildcard character. Here I have the employee name and I want to pull the hire date in the employee database. Now, the problem here is that I have only the first name, but our employee database listed all the employee with their full name. So this is not a match, or not an exact match. Now, what I can do is, instead of looking for an exact match, I can use asterisk and do a partial match. Now, asterisk is the most commonly used wildcard character. The asterisk can represent 0 or more characters. All right, let's construct our XLOOKUP with the wildcard character. I'll click equal in this cell, select XLOOKUP, and my lookup value will be Stefan in the cell E5, but instead of just E5, I'll use the ampersand, then type asterisk in between quotation marks. This is to connect it with the last name, comma. So if I select this entire string and press F9, see what happens? It gives me first name, then asterisk. Okay, let me press Ctrl Z to go back. What it's doing here is it is going to go through this entire employee name list. If this name appears, then the XLOOKUP is going to consider this as an exact match. And now the lookup array will be this name column. So I can just select B, comma. My return array will be the entire hire date in this column. So I just select G, comma. Next, what to return in case the value is not found. I wanted to return text, not available, comma. Now, I must specify the match mode. Select 2 for wildcard, close parenthesis, press enter. So that's it, everyone. If anything wasn't quite clear, please leave a comment below and I'll do my best to help you out. I'm here to help you guys. If you find this tutorial helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It's going to make my day, you guys. Thanks again for watching and have a great day. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!